Welcome back, Psych Dude family. It's good seeing each and every one of you guys today. So, common question I've gotten lately is, what is the fastest route to becoming a psychiatric mental health nurse practitioner, or just a nurse practitioner in general? And honestly, there's so many different routes to becoming a nurse practitioner. But if I were gonna break it down to you, the fastest route to becoming a nurse practitioner, let's break it down. So, the fastest route to becoming a nurse practitioner or even a psychiatric nurse practitioner is getting your bachelor's in science of nursing. So getting your bachelor's in science of nursing, your BSN. So once you get your BSN, that's going to take about, let's say, 4 years, give or take, depending on how long it takes you to do your prereqs. So if you do your prereqs, you can do your prereqs in 1.5 to almost 2 years. And then after you do your prereqs, then that's when you go into the nursing component and getting your nursing degree. So BSN in 4 years. And then after that, you can go ahead and get your master's in nursing, and then an emphasis of nurse practitioner, and depending on which degree or specialty you want to get into. But for this instance, you can become a psychiatric mental health nurse practitioner. But one thing that I must mention is, yes, you can get your degree and become a psych nurse practitioner within 7 years after graduating high school. Yeah, you have to work your butt off, but it's possible. But will that make you the best nurse practitioner? And will that make you the most qualified nurse practitioner? Yes, by all means, you'll meet the minimum requirements in order for you to become a nurse practitioner. But like I said, will it make you the best nurse practitioner? And honestly, I feel like you have to get experience, and that's the biggest thing. Yes, you want to rush towards becoming a nurse practitioner, but when you are a nurse practitioner in 7 years, when are you going to get the experience to work in nursing and working on bedside? You're not going to necessarily know all of those things that you learn working bedside, because that's it. It's like, imagine going through the whole process and not necessarily knowing how to speak to a doctor, not necessarily knowing how to speak to a patient, not necessarily knowing the ins and outs of working in psych, the ins and outs of working in med-surg, ins and outs of working ER. If you're trying to go into a specialty and just constantly just trying to get done as fast as possible, you're probably not going to be better off compared to someone that took their time, got experience, things like that. I'm not saying you shouldn't do it in 7 years, because you can technically get experience while going to school, but at the same time is you want to be able to take your time, be able to gain all the experience you can while working bedside. Working bedside is probably the best decision I've made. Yes, I wanted to be a nurse practitioner right away from the nursing school until now, but I feel like the amount of information that I learned at bedside compared to what I learned in school is huge, because I was able to gain that foundation. I was able to gain that knowledge base and then be able to apply it while being NP. And I went to school with, I think, one other classmate that had no experience, and it seems like she was kind of lost throughout the whole program until the last semester. Then that's when things kind of started to click, but it was a lot harder for her, and the learning curve and was relatively steep for her, because she had to learn everything brand new. And I'm not sure how she is doing as a psychiatric nurse practitioner, but all I can say is, if I didn't have that bedside experience while being prior to becoming a nurse practitioner, it'd be super hard. And if you're already a nurse, you can already speak to how much knowledge you've learned, and if you got experience prior to becoming a nurse practitioner, you could probably already speak about how much knowledge base you've learned prior to becoming NP, and what the things you've learned prior to becoming an NP. And if you're a nurse right now, you've probably met some med students or even nursing students that didn't necessarily know how to even talk to a doctor or know how to talk to a patient. They're just so regimented, and they're just talking like a robot, like, hey, how are you? How are you doing? And you've seen some of those interns and seen some of those medical students that the social aspect isn't necessarily there until they start to speak to more patients, until they start to talk to more doctors, talk to more nurses, things like that, and then they slowly pick up and it helps. But it's just the experience, and you have to have that experience. Yes, that's pretty much what I just wanted to make a quick video on. Is yes, you can get your bachelor, or you can get your nurse practitioner license relatively fast, in 7 years, maybe even sooner than that, if you go to a faster based program. I know West Coast, in like California, West Coast University, you're able to get your bachelor's, your BSN in 3 years, and then after you get your BSN, you can go ahead and get your MSN in psych mental health nurse practitioner in another 3 years, or maybe even 2 years. So you can technically do it in 5 years. So if you want to go that route, by all means. But my biggest suggestion is to get experience in between. What's a year of experience compared to not knowing? Just get a year of experience, get 2 years minimum, I think, honestly, 2 years, and then you'll be relatively good. But if you can get more than that while still going to school, that's a solid foundation already within itself, and you're gonna know a bunch of knowledge, and it's gonna help you when you are a nurse practitioner, and it's not gonna feel like you're just drowning out there as a nurse practitioner, because you're already gonna learn the basics, which is communication, and then the basis of how to take care of patients, and basis of what medications to order, because you've already seen other practitioners or other psychiatrists or doctors order similar medications for certain things. But yeah, like I said, I just want to make a quick video. Don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up, and don't forget to follow me on Instagram at THEPSYCHDUDE, and subscribe to my channel. As always, have a wonderful day, guys. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.